Joining me now, one of the men behind these drones, Bill Borgia. He's the director of the robotics lab for Lockheed Martin. Bill, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Megan.
I want to start out by talking about one of Lockheed's latest drones, inspired by the maple seed. Tell us about that.
That's right. Samurai is the UAV that we're talking about. It's inspired by a maple seed from nature. It's a vertical takeoff and landing platform, meaning an operator can use it without having to have a runway. It's a very lightweight device. You can pull it out of your backpack. You can launch it like you use a boomerang. And then you can use it for surveillance in confined spaces, such as an urban environment. Vertical takeoff and landing has always been a challenge in aviation because of the number of moving parts. But by leveraging from the maple seed or from a natural concept, we can develop a vertical takeoff and landing system with only 2 moving parts.
How exactly are you expecting this to be profitable? We're hearing so much about the Department of Defense cuts. Do you see this being a moneymaker for Lockheed?
Sure. Well, actually, as a technologist, the challenge that we're going to face in the next few years is how to invest in technologies that are ultimately going to reduce acquisition, operation, and maintenance costs for our soldiers, sailors, and airmen. One of the ways we do that with technologies like Samurai is we build very simple systems mechanically and apply a lot of intelligence to them. So with only 2 moving parts, we can build these systems very, very cheaply. And then ultimately that leads to a downstream reduction in cost, both in acquisition cost and in total cost when you consider maintenance.
What else are you guys working on? What's going to be the next big thing? And what are you seeing these drones being used for outside of the Department of Defense?
So that's a good question. So one way I look at robotics is similar to either PCs or iPhones. If you were to take a PC and put it in the hands of users, you would learn a whole plethora of applications because the user is driving those application choices. And once we can start putting robots in the hands of actual users outside the military space, we'll learn of a whole host of applications that the engineers here haven't been able to dream of yet.
What are some of the possible clients outside of the Pentagon?
Well, for example, take the problem of infrastructure maintenance and repair. We have a lot of infrastructure in this country that needs to be maintained and repaired. A lot of it's in confined spaces. We need to inspect it. One way that we can do that much more effectively is through the use of robotics. And those can be robots on the ground, those can be robots underwater, those can be robots in the air.
You mentioned underwater drones. What are they going to be doing? What are some of the things that you see actually these being implemented to do?
Sure. So we have a lot of infrastructure that is underwater, such as a dam, for example, or a pier. Well, as we need to inspect and maintain these systems, we can send robots out to do them, to do the inspection where it's difficult to get a human in there to do that. And again, just like it can for the military, the robot can be used to reduce the total maintenance cost for the agency that owns the dam or the bridge or the underwater infrastructure.
Okay, thank you, Bill Borgia, so much for being here with us.